Okay. All right, so hopefully you will be able to see on your screen our first slide here, just welcoming you to the lunch party. If you have any questions, either on Facebook, go ahead and leave a comment. Also, if you're in the Zoom webinar with us live, we do have a moderator. Please go ahead and send all of your questions to them, and we'll try to get those answered as soon as we can. Okay, great. So thank you all again for coming. I just want to start off by saying that normally in our in-person lunch parties, we have like a little scavenger hunt activity sheet. So we're getting a little creative this year. We do still have a book launch giveaway. So there are a couple different ways that you can interact and engage during the evening. And at the end of the night, I'll be kind of checking to see who's participating and how. And the person who basically is the most interactive and just giving us a lot of great support, I will go ahead and ship this gift bag to you. So we have a lot of great prizes. I'm including all 3 volumes of Ready to Fly, along with our coasters and bookmarks, and a gift from each of our launch sponsors. So we have a lot of great things in the bag for you tonight. So a couple ways that you can participate and engage. Check us out on Facebook. Look for Ready to Fly Anthology. So it's also facebook.com/readytoflybook. We're on Instagram at Ready to Fly Book. And you can also go to readytoflybook.com and look for our email list and sign up that way to stay in touch. Also, if you want to take some pictures or screenshots and post those online and support us in different ways, you can go ahead and tag Ready to Fly Book. You can tag our authors. We would love to see you, just from your standpoint, what the launch is like for you. And we would love to see and hear your support online. So any way that you can share your comments, questions, just cheer us on any way that you can. I know this format is a little different and we're all just kind of, navigating these new waters together. So we would just love to see and hear from you any way that you can tonight. And just have fun, enjoy the celebration. If you have some friends and family that want to join in, we still have some room in our webinar. You can go ahead and register online. Check out readytoflybook.com, go under volume 3, and you can still register there as well. Or you can also check us out on Facebook. We are streaming live right now. So again, the more you participate, the more I'll see your name and you'll have a better chance of winning our great gift bag. All right, so just a little bit about this project. I started this in 2017 to help promote stories of strength and transformation. I wanted to create a safe place for women to share their stories. And I wanted people to ultimately know that they're not alone in the things that they're struggling with. Especially now, I think these stories are so valuable and we could all use a little love right now. So this was my intention in starting the project. We did have volume 1 come out in 2018. And in 2019, our book won the Next Generation Indie Book Award in the women's issues category. So we're really proud of that. And then this year, volume 2 won as a finalist in the same category of women's issues in the Next Generation Indie Book Awards. So with volume 3, we're really excited to see where this could go and to see how many women are able to really just take in these stories and to see how these ripples can spread throughout the world. So I would love to share with you all of the people who helped make this book possible. So I'd like to introduce you to our launch sponsors and some of our contributors who helped make this happen. So first, look at all these amazing companies, and we had such great support this year. We're first going to hear from our launch sponsors. They helped us have a wider reach in our communities and beyond. They helped us put some of these pieces together to help create just a special type of virtual launch that we're doing right now. So first up, I'd like to introduce you to Dina Tibbs. And I'm going to get this video going here.
You ready for me?
Let's see. I am ready for you. I am getting these, the video settings. Bear with me for 1 second.
In the spotlight. Hi, everyone. I'm Dina Tibbs with Amused Women Studios and author contributor to Volume 2. So first, I want to say congratulations to all the authors and Crystal for putting out another volume of this amazing work that you've all stepped through the threshold of courage to share those stories out into the world, which is just a super big passion of mine in the work that I do. And I'm just so honored to have helped contribute to the birth of this latest version, and hopefully it goes out to the world far and wide. And what I've been sitting with as it relates to telling these stories, and Sharon and I talked about this a few weeks ago, one of the authors, and it's, you know, you write this story, and it was usually, of course, something that happened in your past. And so when you're writing it, it has already shifted. And then you've now released it out, but it's still not out. And then there's that period in between when you're completed with writing your story, and then this moment that we're now here in with the release, and already again, that story has yet shifted once more, and you're creating a whole new story out of what emerged from the starting of the writing and the time in which the story occurred. So I feel like we're sometimes jumping timelines, but you know, as women, it's my huge belief that, you know, we are here to create, and we are here to weave our stories, and we're all here holding a separate thread that gets woven then together. And through this work and the work in telling our stories in whichever ways we do that, and helping others tell their stories, we shift the world. And even if it's one person at a time, it makes just such a huge difference. There isn't a story I haven't read through all 3 of the volumes that hasn't spoken to me in some way, or that wasn't a mirror for me in some small way, that, you know, of course, then transformed anything I was sitting with in the moment. So, you know, I congratulate all of you for doing this. It's a brave step, and you will never know the amount of people it has touched. And that's not even what's important, because through the writing of it, it healed and transformed you. And so you know that by the reading of it, it will do the same for others. And I had one of my teachers that I was sitting with last night talk about how we can read something from our logical minds, and then we can read something from our soul place, and how those words just transform us on a soul and energetic level that's beyond anything we can look at with our logical minds. And so I just love this work. I'm so very, very proud of all of you. And I can say the story I told when I wrote it in 2018 was based on a story in 2016 that brought me to where I'm here today, which is now writing my own book. And as I began, which was evolved out of part of the story I told in volume 2, and that story has evolved into 2 really core pieces of my work, guiding women to stand in their sovereignty and guiding women to know why they're here on the planet. And that piece is actually what the book is birthing into. And I began it before the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit, and I said, okay, now I have to tell this story from a whole new lens of perspective based on where we are in the present moment. And so I took a little break from it because I'm like, how do I want to shift this work so it speaks to what we're dealing with in the present times? And so that's the beauty of the writing process, is you come in with an idea and it drops in, and then you're sitting in what's happening out in the collective presently, and then part of the story shifts. So I'm really excited about that work, and that both of those pieces are really birthed out of my story, but then birthed out of doing the work with other women and hearing how that work has impacted them, and they're all a part of my story, as well as I'm writing this latest version of the book of unearthing what your sacred assignment here is on this planet. So I thank you, Crystal, for lighting the fire under me to write that story, because I've been a lifelong writer, but most of it was for self, not for outside. And there's a big shift in moving into that place. So congratulations, everyone. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you, Dina. Really appreciate hearing from you. All right. And if you want to learn more about Dina, her website is amusewomenstudios.com. We also have a lot of posts on our Facebook page. We have some information about all of our sponsors online at readytoflybook.com. All right. So next, our next launch sponsor is Nikki Milton with Marvel Marketing Squad. So I'm just going to figure out all this fun technology. Let's see, where are you, Nikki? There you are. All right.
Yay. Hello, everyone. I am Nikki Milton of Marvel Marketing Squad, and I am a new author this year in Volume 3, although I got to see the process behind the scenes because my mom was an author in the last volume, in Volume 2. And so, hi, Mom, I see you in the attendees list. Stories are threads woven throughout our roots and our history and our culture. And one thing every human being has in common is being caught in the snare of a good story, whether it be a great book or a fantastic movie, an unforgettable TV show, compelling song lyrics, or a life-changing conversation. Our universal stories are the literal ties that bind us. So tonight I'm honored to be a sponsor of the Ready to Fly Volume 3 Women's Anthology book. This project was created by Crystal for women, by women, right? It's a safe place to share our most vulnerable stories. And in doing so, participate in the ongoing work of healing ourselves and others. The power of these particular stories is that by writing them and publishing them, the Ready to Fly authors are not only doing their own personal growth and healing work, they're healing other women as they embark on their own paths of healing and development. From an article on Psychology Today, I found this quote that every time you tell your story and someone else who cares bears witness to it, you turn off the body's stress responses. You flip off toxic stress hormones like cortisol and epinephrine, and you flip on relaxation responses that release healing hormones like oxytocin, dopamine, nitric oxide, and endorphins. So telling your story literally eases your stress, relaxes your body, tames your nervous system, and helps you heal both physically and emotionally. As a marketing company, I've seen firsthand the power of sharing your story with the world. Great marketing is all about sharing your company's story in a way that both attracts attention and compels the audience to take action. It can be a dual-edged sword, and like with most things, marketing can be used for either manipulation or inspiration. Sloppy marketing uses manipulation, fear, scarcity, and a low sense of self-worth to trigger the audience to make a purchase. But great marketing is inspiring. It connects people, and it tells the woven story of us all, each thread connected to an innumerable number of other threads. People and businesses coming together to solve problems, generate solutions, connect people, and do their part to make this world better. Those marketing stories have the power to not only move us, but to create lifelong brand loyalty. So my question for you is, do you know your story? Do you know it well enough that you could share it? And if the answer is yes, you are well on your way to building your own community, a tribe of people who resonate with who you are, why you are here, and the positive impact you make in the world. That's where true success lies, and being 100% of who you are already, in showing up, in telling your story, and then in leading the people who are drawn to it to improve their lives and the lives of others. I honor all the women, the brave women who shared their story and Ready to Fly, and I hope you'll find stories in Volume 3 that resonate with you and inspire you. I also recognize all of the people here tonight who have shown up to hold space for these brave women as they share their personal stories with the world. Thank you for bearing witness to these stories and supporting both the authors and the project. It matters more than you can imagine.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nikki. All right. All right. So I just want to take a second to thank everyone for your patience. This is the first time that I have done a live book launch virtually using a webinar and Facebook Live at the same time. So thank you. I really appreciate your patience and just being able to go with the flow. All right, so I'm really excited to introduce to you our next launch sponsor, Liz Ann Corbett with Liz Ann Corbett Counseling. All right. And we're ready for you whenever you're ready.
So can you hear me? Am I unmuted, Crystal?
Yeah, you're ready to go. Awesome.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Oh my goodness. I am so excited to be here. First of all, Crystal, I just want to honor you for creating this from beginning to end, the years and years of work that you put into it, and the creative commitment that you have made to make this happen right now. And I'd also like to honor all the women who have written their stories, shared their stories, walked through the crisis in their lives to be able to stand here or sit here as we are and hold space for each other and tell their stories and allow other women to be inspired, guided, and blessed by their stories. I am a soul nurturer, heart warrior, rebel poet, and I'm a midwife to the spirit. And as I've read these books, what I know is that every single story represents a dark night of the soul time, a death and rebirth time, what I call the feminine cycle of transformation, where we die to an old way of being and we birth ourselves into the gifts of who we are and bring those into the light of day. I am proud to be in the company of all of you because we are the women that change the world. By changing our inner life, we change the outer life, and our world needs us right now, deeply, abidingly. Because we are the strength, we are the soulfulness, we are the power. And you have shown your power, your strength, your beauty, I would say with grace and grit, as you have walked through the fires of transformation, resurrected your gift and your beauty and your gems and brought them back out into the world. And I am so proud to be in your company, to share a little bit of space with you. Yeah. Walking through the cycle of transformation this is not my first rodeo. I've worked my lifelong time working with women and men to traverse that cycle of transformation and to mine for the beauty of who we are through the wasteland, and to love ourselves so fiercely we show other people how it's done. And I think you all are showing other people how it's done by loving yourselves enough to share your stories and to show other people and to be models. So once again, I'm really proud to be in your company. Crystal asked me to share a poem, and I didn't really pick one out today, except when I sat down, I opened my Notorious book, and there's a poem that just opened right up. So I just wanted to share it with you because I think it speaks to us, to these fierce feminine that we are. It's called Goddess Bless. Blessed is the holy child that lives among you. Blessed is the holy spark that lives within you. Blessed is the Holy Spirit that is you. My daughters, my sisters, my mothers, my devotees. Transform your hearts to love more richly. Transform your mind to know your truth. Transform your bodies to receive more love. Transform your spirits to manifest more beauty. Goddess gives, Goddess receives, Goddess speaks, Goddess trusts, Goddess loves, Goddess protects, Goddess manifests, Goddess creates, Goddess blesses. Goddess is the reflection of your beautiful soul, back to you in all its facets and dimensions. You are called to the mystical transformation of your being here on earth. You are called to manifest your true light and shine it into the world, to lighten the darkened places, to illuminate the shadows, to bring forth that which is hidden in the world, and to bear witness to the holiness abounding within. Goddess bless your beautiful souls, your human selves, your spirit incarnate, and your holy flame. Let it burn brightly in your heart of hearts. You, my daughters, are the mystery made manifest, the holy in the hallowed, the spirit in the flesh, the great mother, the devoted daughter, the sweet sister, the blessing here on earth. And I thank you. You are the blessing here on earth, each and every one of you. Let us bring our gifts into the world so that we can change it. So that we can change it to a better place, a more holy place, a more peaceful place. I think I can say this. Damn proud to know y'all. Thanks for having me. I'm really honored to be a part of this and to be supporting the changes that are happening within and without. Thank you.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you so much for being here and supporting us.
Happy to.
All right. Whew. I could listen to that all day. So thank you to all of our launch sponsors. Again, we really appreciate your support. We're so glad that you could be here with us. Let's see. Next, I'm going to introduce you to our promotional sponsors. So their generosity will enhance our marketing, our promotional and distribution efforts, and it already has. So our messages of strength and healing can travel, like Dina said, far and wide. So I'd like to introduce you to Nancy McKay. She is also one of our Volume 3 authors who you will meet a little bit later tonight. And I'm just going to pull up her bio real quick. See if I can get these windows to move out of the way. There we go. Nancy McKay is a certified life coach and founder of Amazing Outlook Coaching. She lives in Lakewood, Colorado with her husband, Jimmy, and her 2 rescued Westies, Maggie and Tommy, and they're adorable. Nancy's life experiences of growing up in an alcoholic household, celebrating sobriety since 2009, and being an ovarian cancer survivor give her a unique perspective on becoming empowered to heal later in life. Nancy's belief that it's never too late and you're never too old inspired her to pursue a career change at 60. She feels privileged to help clients conquer their fears and transform their lives too. Nancy has earned her certification as a Wayfinder life coach from Martha Beck, Inc., as well as a mind-body eating coach from the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. Nancy is also pursuing a certification as an EQ's coach through Coel Institute for EQ's coaching. She is a supporter of the Colorado Ovarian Cancer Alliance, helping raise awareness of the signs and symptoms of this killer disease. With a diverse background, experience, and training, Nancy provides her clients with invaluable resources and modalities for healing and growth. You can learn more and connect with Nancy at amazingoutlookcoaching.com. And we'll hear from her in a little bit. Next, we have Marcia Pinkstaff with Touchstone Crystals by Swarovski. Here we go. Marcia Pinkstaff, director with Touchstone Crystals by Swarovski, is a breast cancer survivor. She is a mom of 2 beautiful, crazy dogs, Brutus and Scarlet, and she lives in Parker, Colorado. Originally from Oregon, Ohio, she is an alum of Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, where she graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree. She shares her story of courage and faith facing the hardest fight of her life. She was diagnosed with a micropapillary invasive ductal carcinoma, stage 3, just 6 to 7 short months after a completely clear mammogram. She has faced many challenges in her life and continues to thrive while empowering and inspiring others through her business and her life. She has been invited to speak at various organizations, both professional and fundraisers for breast cancer awareness, such as Living Beyond Breast Cancer and Castle Rock Adventist Hospital. Her chapter in Volume 3 is just a Cliff Note version, as she has so much more to share, and she will be writing her own book in the near future. So we look forward to meeting Marcia and Nancy a little bit later this evening. Thank you both so much for being promotional sponsors and supporting our project in this way. So next up, we have our affiliate sponsors. Hollie, Clere from Social Media Advisors, and Cindy Wenzel with Passage by Design. So the Social Media Advisor team is overseen by Hollie, Clere. She says, we have a strong team of professionals who provide excellent support to our clients in strategy, education, brand building, social content marketing, and business building through keyword relevance optimizations. No matter the industry, there is a social media marketing program that can be customized for any business. You can learn more about Hollie's business at thesocialmediaadvisor.com. And of course, we will also get to meet Hollie as she is a author in Volume 3. So we'll get to hear from her a little bit later. So Cindy Wenzel, from an early age, she had always wanted to be a teacher. She has been a school educator for 35 years, and she's truly enjoyed every moment of her career. So much that when she retired, she didn't really know who she was outside of education. And she says, a very long story short, she discovered that the creative world, the creative world by substitute teaching in the art department of the high school that she retired from. She now believes that everyone is creative and that we learn so much about ourselves through the creative world. She is now a one-on-one coach with groups of people using Zentangle, Soul Collage, Journey Circles, and she is on her way to being certified as a creative depth coach. So thank you both so much for being our affiliate sponsors, helping us support women in their missions to heal through sharing their stories. And now I would love to introduce our butterfly sponsors to you. These women are supporters of some of our writers while they were going through the writing process and going through this program. And so first, I'd like to recognize Violet Rain with Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. As you heard earlier from Nikki, she was also an author in Volume 2 of Ready to Fly. Hollie Stewart of Stewart Communications. She was also an author in Ready to Fly Volume 2. And Christine Hernandez of Revenue Tribe. So all of these women helped contribute in a beautiful way, helping some of our authors get through the writing process and making this project possible. Okay, so we have so many people working behind the scenes, helping us pull all of these pieces together. And I'd just like to take a few minutes to thank and acknowledge all of these wonderful contributors. We have amazing, amazing editors. I will highly recommend all of these wonderful women: Jennifer Bisbing, Kristen Hamilton, Jennifer Jazz, Kirsten Jensen, Camille Parker, and Jen Zellinger. Thank you so much. You did an amazing job. And on the consulting and administrative side, these ladies work really, really hard. You would not even believe it. Polly Latofsky from My Word Publishing and Katie Hagland of Elevate Virtual Solutions. Thank you so, so much for all of your help. Our interior design, everything on the inside of the book, the layout, the page numbers, all the little details. Andrea Constantine did an amazing job. She's actually worked on all 3 of our books. I highly recommend her. I can't praise her enough. She is amazing. She also does our ebooks as well. And our cover design was done by Victoria Wolf of Red Wolf Design and Marketing. She also did all 3 of our covers. They're beautiful. I'm going to show you some pictures of them throughout the launch party, but I'm going to show you them right here. Volume 3, Volume 2, and Volume 1. So she did all of these beautiful covers, and she just did a really amazing job. For printing, we work with a logo printer here in Colorado, Steuben Press. They have been amazing to work with, really efficient. The books just turn out really professional and so beautiful. And it's just really exciting to get the physical copy in your hands. And for our marketing and branding design, we worked with Amy Johnson at Dovetail Marketing. She's awesome. She helped us create all of our coasters and bookmarks and all of these fun materials that you see behind us. She did a really great job with all 3 volumes. So thank you again to all of our sponsors and contributors. You helped make this project possible. I wish I had like a little clapping soundtrack in the background. I just want to take a minute and just look at all of these amazing companies and people and all of the effort and energy that was put into this project behind the scenes, and just taking a minute to recognize these wonderful women. Thank you so much. All right. Now it's the time you've all been waiting for. Before we get to meet the authors, I just want to engage the audience a little bit and just see where everyone is located. Where are you joining us from? I'd love to see that in the comments. Just let us know where you are so we can see how we're reaching people out there. It'd be awesome to see where everyone is. Great. And then I would also love to know, which author do you know from volume 3? Who are you here supporting tonight? And maybe it's a couple different people. I know a lot of us know each other. We've got a pretty big network. So I'd just love to have some shout outs and just see who's supporting us and where everybody's located. Be great to hear from you guys. Awesome. Beautiful. All right. So, unfortunately, there were a few people, a few authors who could not join us on the live meeting tonight. So I'd like to reach out to them, or recognize them rather, and just take a minute to recognize them and tell you a little bit about them and their stories. All right, so we have Kerrie Brown. Her chapter is called My Wake Up Call. Okay, so a little bit about Kerrie. With over 20 years of working in corporate communications, broadcast journalism, and print media, Kerrie Brown has evolved her love of traditional reporting and heartfelt storytelling into the creation of Red Lily, which is a unique lifestyle, health, and wellness brand. Besides breaking barriers in the women's editorial space as CEO and publisher of RedLilyLife.com, Kerrie is also an award-winning writer and editor with articles published in over 100 magazines worldwide. Originally from Toronto, Canada, and now based in Denver, Colorado, she works with a variety of global clients in the areas of content creation, editorial management, corporate storytelling, brand messaging, book strategy and editing, and leadership team motivation. Kerrie is also an avid women's heart health champion, public speaker, and author of the book My Heart, Myself, a heartfelt guide for women who do too much. And this book is available on Amazon. So if you go to readytoflybook.com and look under volume 3, you can see her full bio there. You can also see the link, the Amazon link to her book. And we also have her website and contact information there. Okay, next I'd like to recognize Andi Michele. Her chapter is called It's Time. Andi Michele, or otherwise known as Andrea Isaacs, has always sought to see the best in all people and contribute to the world in a positive way. Whether that has been as a real estate advisor, in various networking arenas, or bringing women together to connect to their own inner being and each other. Never expecting writing to be her calling, Andi found writing to be a cathartic practice during her awakening and never stopped. To write, teach, and speak have become her purpose. Her current projects include a book and series of workshops that aim to help women rediscover who they are. Andi has 2 wonderful teenage boys and enjoys all the moments with them, understanding that adulthood is just around the corner. As a Colorado native, Andi loves the mountains, long hikes in nature, fishing, and any time near water. She also highly values her yoga and meditation practice, keeping her connected to the flow. Andi has a heart for many causes, including homelessness, education, world poverty, and women's empowerment. Her greatest desire is to travel the world in an effort to give back and give hope. You can learn more about her by visiting her website, alwaysandym.com. And you can also go to readytoflybook.com, look under volume 3, and get more information about her there. Okay, next we have Terri Mongait. Her chapter is called Begin Again Despite the Diagnosis. Terri is a certified equine Gestalt coach and Canfield methodology trainer, professional speaker, and equine facilitated success coach. She is a published author in Volume 1 of the Touched by a Horse anthology series and in Volume 1 of To Be Inspired. Her forthcoming memoir, Life Beyond the Disney Castle, Finding True Purpose on the Ranch, will be published by Victoria and Albert Press in 2020. She currently lives at Begin Again Ranch in Sedalia, Colorado, with her husband, 4 horses, 1 mini donkey, 6 chickens, 3 dogs, and 1 barn cat, where she enjoys her passion for writing, all things Disney, and supporting women to transform their lives and find success on their own life journeys. To hire Terri, to learn from her and her herd of wisdom horses, or to have her speak at your next event, you can contact Terri at beginagainranch.com. And again, you can also go to readytoflybook.com, look under volume 3, and get more information about her there. Okay, so we really are missing you guys, Terri, Andi, and Kerrie Lee. We wish you could be here. We love you very much. And so we know who's next. Dot Kaufman, her chapter is called Who Are Your Friends? So I'm going to switch over and find Dot.
Hi, everyone.
Beautiful. All right, go for it.
Okay, so my chapter is about friends, and I think that relationships have been very important to me all these years of my life, you know, whether they're family, friendships, intimate relationships, co-workers, community members, whoever. I've studied them, I've been about them, and I've learned a lot. When I look back through the years, I consider relationships as my best teachers, the good ones, the bad ones, the challenges and whatnot. And I think now that we're in this coronavirus situation, I've even grown to have a greater appreciation for relationships and my friendships. And I've been blessed through the years. I've had some really close relationships through different chapters of my life. I've been blessed to be able to travel different places and, you know, just have different life experiences. And each life experience I've had a group of friends, or maybe one friend that was just, you know, I could just count on those people to be really close, dear friends. And, you know, I think we realize that we go through stages with friendships and with relationships. It's great when they work, and it's not so great when they don't work. And we're human, so sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But I think that we can just take all of it as a gift to learn from. So my chapter started because I had a situation a few years ago with a couple of friends in another country where I was living. And I considered them to be really good, close friends. And they didn't consider me to be the same. And so that was the whole situation kind of blindsided me, and I had to really discern who are my friends and who are not my friends. That's what my chapter is about. It's like looking at your relationships and looking at who are your real friends, who are those friends that are just there for the time being to maybe, help you get through a project, support you with this, have fun with or whatever. And who are those ones who are going to be with you through thick and thin, through the ins and outs, I saw a quote, I'm just gonna see if I can, a quote I just saw today said, "A true friend sees the first tear, catches the second, and stops the third." And I'm thinking, in my situation, yeah, they see the first, they catch the second, but they probably would cry with you the third and share those tears with you. So, I've got some good friends on this call, and I'm just so thankful that they're here right now with me. I know they've been here with me through the good times and the bad times through the years. And so anyway, that's what my chapter's about. It's discerning who are your real friends and who are not. And it's also about being a friend and being, standing up for yourself and having the right kinds of boundaries and creating a healthy relationship for yourself first, and then with those in your life who come. I'm realizing the older I get, the more important these friendships and relationships are. So I'm just, like I said, I'm honored to be here, and I bless you all. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Yay. All right. Thank you, Dot. Okay, next we have Marlene Bizub. Her chapter is called The Courage to Do Things Differently. So let's go over to video. There you are. Wonderful.
Am I good to go?
You are good to go.
Okay. It has been such an honor and privilege to be a part of this project. And when I first knew about the books that Crystal does, I thought that sounds interesting. But when the time came that she approached me about this one, or I approached her, I forgot which, I really had a heart and passion to share something that hopefully will be meaningful to people who are going through the experience that I'm going to describe. That for over 20 years, and that tells you a little bit about how old I am, I've been an evaluator in the courts in divorce cases. And it's brutal. And the system perpetuates conflict. And I had no idea until I got started in that type of work, this type of work. I'm still doing some of that type of work. Really how contentious it is and how the system perpetuates conflict. And if you're an attorney or married to an attorney or the sister of an attorney and you're on this call, my intent is not to bash attorneys. Their job is to represent you to the best of their ability. But their job is not to work out an agreement between divorcing parents. It is not to do what is in the best interest of the children in the case. It is to represent their client to the best of their ability. And in that process, we really forget about people's lives after this court battle. And it just turns so contentious, and venom starts to spew. And unfortunately, I found myself on the receiving end of a lot of that venom many times, because if I make an evaluation, do an evaluation, make a recommendation, and one party doesn't like it, which is inevitably going to happen, then the party who doesn't like my recommendation, of course, comes after me and attacks me. And I said many years ago, there's got to be a better way of doing this than the way we typically do it when we lawyer up and litigate, and it just becomes this contentious battle. And what I really didn't plan on having happen about 4 or 5 years ago was I discovered there was such a thing as a divorce coach. And I quickly became certified, and I thought, boy, everybody's going to embrace this. This is a great way of handling it. It's peaceful. It gives you control. You leave the experience as friends, or at least more than you're going to if you litigate. And I was stunned to see the resistance that came to doing something differently. And I think in any area of life that we're in, any area of work, there is a status quo. And changing that status quo is much more difficult than what we think it's going to be, or it certainly was for me. So when I had the opportunity to write this chapter about having the courage to do things differently, I embraced the idea of being able to just kind of put this out there. And it doesn't have to be in divorce court. It can be in any area of life or work that you're in. But having the courage to do things differently, it's hard, but it's worth it. And you can walk away feeling like, maybe I changed life for one person, one child. I do it for the children that I work with. And if you're a child of divorce, you'll know what I'm talking about, because I am. And I've also been divorced as an adult. And you know what it does to everyone in the family when you approach it in a contentious way. So I don't want to spoil the end of my chapter, but I talk about lighting one candle. And I would really encourage you tonight or tomorrow night, turn off the lights in your bedroom at night before you go to bed and light one candle, and then maybe another. And then imagine a whole room full of lit candles. And that's what we can do, but it has to start with us. And I want to thank you all for being here, for listening to us. We have poured our hearts and souls into making this book something that will be meaningful. And if you want to reach out for any reason to talk to me or contact me, or to buy a book, feel free to contact me to buy a book. You can contact me through my website, which is marlenebizub.com. And Crystal, thank you for leading the charge and for calling all of us to do better in our lives and in the world.
Thank you. And you're very welcome. And I'm so glad that you could be here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful. Okay. Next, we have Sharon Lawlor. Her chapter is called Lost in Hope.
Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, everybody. I'm so happy to be here and share this experience with all of you. It's been quite a journey. Started many months ago, and it's amazing of what has evolved even since then. It feels like it's been a lifetime ago of writing this and all that has happened. Little did I know how much healing would be taking place just writing the story and shifting that story, and even what story wanted to come through. When I had my original idea about the book, was one thing, but then it had evolved into a much broader spectrum of my life, pulling in threads from back into my childhood. I had been healing on many different levels for almost a couple of decades, but it's amazing of what other things can come through, and being able to see a different perspective of it, and being able to surrender to that and let it go, and have it as a gift is been a very tremendous gift and blessing in itself, to be able to write my story and what it's done for me. And I hope it provides some healing for others, of just, no matter how crazy life can be and the chaos it can feel like, and things that have been happening for a very long time, that there is hope. And connecting to that hope that something's gonna happen and change, that's the first step of it. And then gaining awareness and being brave and having that courage to walk through it instead of bypassing it or going around it, or having blinders on. That's been a truly healing gift, and I'm really blessed to be a part of it. So I appreciate that. The book can be purchased through me and my website is tranquilbeing.com, and I can put that in the chat as well. So I appreciate that, and I'm blessed to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful. So wonderful to see all of you on the video and to connect for a little bit. Okay. All right, next we have Hollie Clere. Her chapter is called The Power of Self-Advocacy.
Thank you.
Here you are.
All right. Am I good to go? There we go. Awesome. Crystal, it has been such a joy to work with you in this experience. And I just want to say thank you for providing the space for all of us to share. I've been on the verge of tears this entire time, and that is a unicorn on my head, Sherry Hess. Your strength, ladies, has been just absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait to read your chapters. I read every single chapter in the previous books, and all of you authors really set the pace for having a platform of safety and healing. My story is, it's interesting. I journaled actually while I was going through my story, but I did want to share. I am dressed as a survivor of an ovarian tumor, and this is my horn and crown for the ovarian cancer walk that we do with Jody's Race and Colorado Ovarian Cancer Alliance. And I just want to say special thank you to every single person who contributed to the cause this year. We were able to donate over $1,100 to Jody's Race for a cause for cure and awareness. So it was really amazing. For me, I don't want to spoil anything in my story because it's so very, very important. It is talking about self-advocacy though, and I was misdiagnosed. And I just want to encourage each and every one of you that you go in, you get a pap smear. It does not always detect if there's something else going on. That tests your cervix. There's nothing really that tests for your ovaries. Know your body and know that if you're not feeling right, it is okay to stand up for yourself. A lot of us were raised in a time where women didn't necessarily do that. They didn't stand up for themselves. They trusted what the doctor said. And you can always get a second opinion. You can always document your history, and it can save your life, and it can save the life of people around you. And whether or not you still have a uterus or ovaries, you can still be susceptible to ovarian tumors or tumors in your abdomen. So know your body. My symptoms were IBS related. And who'd have known? I sure wouldn't have. Hey, heck, I was almost 39 years old and, you know, healthy as a horse. So that is my story. I'm excited for you to read it. There's some really fun little quirky anecdotes, and if you know me, you know that my doctor was beautiful, and you can really hear my voice in the journal entries as well. And I loved the editor that I worked with. It was a fabulous experience. There's one thing I want to share with you here. If you listen to music, Katy Perry Rise, it's a little bit of a dark song, but it talks about overcoming, being a champion, rising above the chaos and struggle, thriving when others think you're out of time, because you are not. I hope my story of advocacy will change lives. That's why I'm here. I know that I was put here to go through what I went through, to make a difference for someone else. And it is unicorn magic. Thank you, Dina. Please be an advocate for yourself. Love deep, live large, adventure always, and for goodness sakes, listen to your body. I'm Hollie, Clere. All of my books are already accounted for. They have not been shipped, but you please reach out if you want a book and you have not already asked for one. Please reach out to the other authors. Let's get them all sold so we can order more and more and more. It's so important for these stories to be told, my friends. And I encourage you, if you have a story on your heart and something you hear tonight inspires you, consider publishing your story. It was hard and it opened wounds that I didn't expect to be open. But you know what? I am so much stronger today because I went through those memories and I lived it. And I succeeded and I am victorious. And it feels so good for other people to be able to read my story and share in that moment of time with me and know that it's a safe place. So I love you, I appreciate you, and let's be awesome in all things. Thank you, Crystal.
Woo! Awesome. Oh my goodness, so good. Thank you so much, Hollie. You're awesome. Man, goodness, I love you guys. All right, Marcia Pinkstaff is up next. Her chapter is called Sterling Strength, and in a minute you might get to hear why. So let's see where you are. Marcia, there you are. Cool, go for it, girl.
Hi, everyone. So first, I want to thank you, Crystal, because Crystal asked me to be in volume 2 when I wasn't ready. And there's so many things about this book, The Dragonfly, chapter 7, all things that really reinforced, and I didn't know those two till after, but that really reinforced that this was the right book for me. I want to thank everybody involved. All of these ladies are rock stars. I adore you all for sharing your stories. And the ones I know, the ones I don't really know, I hope to get to know. And I'm so excited about this. So, and of course, thank you all for being here. So I am, excuse my background, this is what I do during my full time, and it just stays here. So if you want to know more, reach out to me. But I'm here because I never would have dreamt I would be diagnosed with breast cancer, let alone stage 3 breast cancer. If you had told me I was going to get cancer, I would have told you it was melanoma because I am pasty white and love the sun. Well, I got my mammograms regularly. I even started a few years early because I noticed I thought they were lumps. It was more fibrocystic. So always got my mammograms, clear mammogram in February of 2012. No family history for breast cancer. I have a few family members that have had other types, but nothing that correlates. So 7 months later, I noticed it in September. I was officially diagnosed in October, beginning of October, but I noticed a difference in my left breast. It was something that I saw, and I reached out and contacted my doctors. And it is so, so important. Hollie touched on this a little bit. You have to pay attention to your body. please, I beg of everyone on here, everyone listening, that if you notice something different with your body, you get it checked. Because I would not be here today, most likely, had I not. My doctors initially thought it was an infection. I thought, woohoo, it's nothing big, right? Until we did the tests. And not only did I have breast cancer, I had stage 3. And this big long word that Crystal shared, micropapillary invasive ductal carcinoma. Well, what that means is I had a bunch of little cancer clusters growing within my left breast. I didn't have one. I had, we don't even know how many, until they all merged and grew together and took over my breast. And it was very rapid because there were so many. And had I not gone to the doctor, I probably would have gone to stage 4 very, very rapidly. Excuse me. So I went, I learned. Some of my friends will say I'm a little neurotic. I thought I was going to wait 3 months for treatment. Ha ha. When you have a plan, forget it. The Lord always has a different one. But I found strength. I found hope through my faith. I have some stories in there about that. The reason for my chapter is because, well, clearly I love jewelry, right? That's what I do for a living. And sterling is one of the strongest metals, but silver is one of the strongest metals. Sterling silver is, they have to add a strengthening agent. And I kind of look at it as, this is in my chapter, so I'm giving you a little teaser here, but silver by itself is bendy. And I believe that when we come into this world, we are malleable, we are learning, we are growing through life. And then we get stuff thrown at us. Some good, some bad. In some cases, some worse than others. I don't necessarily think my particular situation was the worst ever. I am sure there are people who have gone through way worse things in life. But I believe through trust, faith, belief, we can overcome anything. And I see faith, belief, whatever you believe in, as that strengthening agent that makes us stronger if we allow it to. And that's where the title of my chapter came from. So I'm excited for you all to read it. You're probably going to cry. Hopefully you're going to laugh a little bit. I tried to share some humor in there. And hopefully, if you have not gotten a mammogram, you are going to go get one if you're supposed to have one. But also, every single person on here will hopefully pay attention to your body. If you have a weird spot on your skin, you feel weird, look at Hollie's situation. Nobody would have thought that was ovarian cancer. Get it checked, just to be sure. Because peace of mind is so much better than wishing you had done something sooner. And I thought I waited too long, but as my doctors told me, there was really no way to know too much before then. So if you want to reach out to me, I'm actually going to give you my phone number because my website is my business website. So my phone number, so people don't, no crazy calls, please. It's 303-947-0274. And you can find me on Facebook. My name should be with my photo when, I don't know if it's when I'm large, but when I get smaller. And I also created a Facebook page called Sterling Strength, which again is the name of my chapter. So you can join that, you can learn more. I will, as Crystal mentioned, I am writing a book. When you read my chapter, you're gonna be like, wait a second, she didn't even really get into chemotherapy. And yes, I did chemo, double mastectomy, radiation, hysterectomy, some surgeries in between, reconstruction, all kinds of stuff over the years. So I feel like I'm being called to write an entire book because I didn't know, there's so much I did not know going into it. And I hope that it can bless and help people. And hopefully my story will give people some laughs also, not just tears. And again, I just want to thank everyone who has been a part of this and who is on this tonight. Thank you, Crystal.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Awesome. All right. Next, I'd like to introduce you to Kelly Stark. Her chapter is called How Can We Help You? There you are. You're all set.
Hi, I'm Kelly Stark, and I want to start off by saying how grateful I am to Crystal and all of you women, how strong you are. Thank you. My chapter is about my life and growing up in an alcoholic home with both parents alcoholics and other family members alcoholics. And I describe the chaos from moment to moment of what that was like and what happened. And through some life-changing events, some traumatic events, I go on to describe what that was like and how that manifested into my early 20s and the coping skills that I developed moving through that. There was a lot of chaos outside of me in the house, and I talk about how that chaos then moved inside. And it started with bad choices and becoming an alcoholic myself and what that looked like. And I go in to describe some pretty bad choices that I made under the influence. And the best way I think I can describe my chapter without giving too much away is very similar to being on an airplane and you're making one bad decision after another and the plane's going down and it's going down fast and it's going down really fast. And as I'm trying to pull up to save the plane and myself, there's a parachute in the back of that plane, and I actually interact with someone in my life that at that pivotal moment that said, you can get off at any time and you can get off this ride at any point. You just have to let go and there's a parachute right there. And so, figuratively speaking, of course, I wasn't in a plane or a parachute, but I did grab that parachute and I had to take an honest look of what my relationship with alcohol was. And then that turned into what my relationship with other people around me, work, friends, family, but it ultimately led me into the relationship that I truly had to look at, which is the one with myself. And I had to get really honest. And I had to get really honest. And that was tough. So I go into all those details and I don't want to give too much away. But my chapter name is How Can We Help You? And that person that asked that question, when so often my experience was, why didn't you, or you should have, or what's your problem, or just a lot of negative, unsupportive experiences. This person in my life asked, how can we help you? And it's that moment, those moments that we have in life that can just completely change the course of everything. And looking back as I was writing my chapter, it just blew my mind, the healing that came with it. And how far I've come and how far, and reading the other chapters in the book, like how far other women have come. It's incredible. It's a miracle in so many ways. And so the purpose of me writing this is I want to give hope to other people that feel that life around them, there's no hope, and the plane's going down, they can't breathe, they have no choices, and you feel trapped. Like life is already planned out and you have no control, but there are parachutes out there. There is a parachute. And so it's to bring hope. And yeah, so that's what my chapter is about. And I just want to say again how grateful I am to be sharing this experience with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kelly. All right. You guys are doing so great. You guys are awesome. All right. Next, we will hear from Rachel Cerchia. Her chapter is called In Search of a Soul. There you are. You're all set.
Okay. I am trying to decide where to start. I am so grateful to be here and to be in this group with all of these amazing women. I'm finding it a little hard to believe that I'm here with you guys, but I'm grateful for the opportunity. I am a physician assistant. I am a life coach, and I would describe myself as a soulful mystic and a healer. I've been really, really good at healing everybody else most of my life and working for all the things that we've been told are good to work for. A good family, good kids, good house, good job, all the things. And I finally got all of those, and I found myself just wondering what else there was and why I wasn't happy. And it started a process for me of realizing that throughout most of my life, I've been hustling for a sense of worth and always looking outside for that, outside of myself. And so my chapter came at a pivotal point where I had done some soul work for myself and had really sought out what I finally figured out was a path for me, for my soul. And the opportunity arose last year at the event for Volume 2 to sign up for this. And I got a nudge from a very, very good friend to sign up. And I basically had already decided I was going to do it. I'm very grateful that I did. My chapter is about that journey. It's about what led me through most of my life to get to this point, and all the places I gave myself away. I think as women, it's really common for us to do that. I think it's almost expected. I think that I wrote some things down so I wouldn't forget to say it. I think that as a society, we are taught to be women. We are taught to be women who are doers and caregivers for other people and not for ourselves. And I think at some point in time in our lives, we come back to a moment where we go, well, what the heck? What about me? Where am I? And we can either choose to walk through it through fear, which generally tends to hold us back, or we can really face a space of love for ourselves and step into that. And that's what my chapter's about making that decision out of love instead of out of fear. I happen to have two beautiful and amazing daughters. My husband and I have been incredibly blessed. And I don't want them to grow up in the same world we grew up in. I don't want them to think it's okay to sacrifice themselves for other people. I want them to understand that they come first. And from there, they can love and be themselves in the rest of the world, and that's really what the world needs, is for us to be ourselves as women first, not as a mom, not as a PA, not as a wife, not as a sister, not as a daughter, none of that. That we have to be women for our true, beautiful, soulful spirits first. And everything else comes from that. I'm grateful for the people that have stood by me in this. My husband and my kids, really. But a lot of other people that listened when I needed to talk and told me that I wasn't crazy for doing this. This was a big step for me to step in and say, I'm going to do something for myself. I'm going to put my story out there, because when we put ourselves out there, it makes it okay for other people to show up and be themselves as well. And I think that a world full of beautiful souls who are comfortable being themselves is the best possible world I could imagine for my girls, and just for us now as women at the stage of life that we're in. So thank you, Crystal, for the opportunity to do this. And thank you for all the time and effort that you put into this. And thank you for all the women who have shown up and the stories that you guys have. I cried a lot in a good way, because I can feel the beauty of everybody's story. And I think it's wonderful. I think it's amazing. And if you ordered books for me, I have them. I just haven't mailed them yet. I'll get there probably this weekend. If you want another one, or if you need one, just hit me up on Facebook is probably the best way. And I did want to leave you guys with a little snippet of what I found in starting this process, and what I continue to explore and appreciate about myself. My worth is, my value is, I can sit in belonging for myself. I can be who I be, and I do not require someone to validate that. I am no longer my own bargaining tool. I will not hustle for my worth. I belong to myself always and only first. I am learning to see the gifts of my soul, and from there, peering into the darkness, the stories aren't as heavy and aren't as dense. Are they scary still? Sure. But the knowledge of who I am absorbs these fears, and I can see truth in the dark. I can see my mistakes where I would have wanted to make other choices. And I can also see that I did the best I could at the time with what I had. And I can shine the light of love in those corners now and illuminate the beauty that lies there. And I just think we all have so much beauty in our souls, and I love seeing all of it. So thank you, Crystal.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Rachel. Beautiful. So good. All right. Nancy McKay. Her chapter is called The Intersection of Desperation and Grace. Let's see. All right, whenever you're ready.
Thank you so much, Crystal. This is such an incredible opportunity, and I feel so grateful and lucky, and I am in the company of some incredible women here. Kelly, your story and mine are very similar, and the title of my chapter is The Intersection of Desperation and Grace, and I was standing at that intersection on Friday, the 13th of March, 2009, when I put a gun to my head after a night out of drinking and thinking that everyone would be better off without me. And when the gun wouldn't fire, I couldn't figure it out, and I realized that the safety was on. And when I took the safety off, the only thing that got shot was an innocent pillow on the bed. And I've been sober ever since.
And I have 3 friends here with me that I've known since high school and junior high. And they all stood behind me, and they all supported me, and they all didn't know what the hell to do with me when I was drinking. And I'm incredibly lucky to still have them in my life. And shortly after about a year after I got sober, I got a great job, making great money, and everything was really great, really going according to plan. And like Marcia said, you know, make a plan and God laughs, right? And I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer on my 58th birthday. And during that, during the time of chemo, my perspective on life started to change. And one of my favorite lines is, I lost my hair, but I gained my inner strength. And I started learning kind of what I was made of, you know, and, you know, I would never wish that anybody has to go through a cancer diagnosis to find out how many people love them. But it was truly, getting cancer for me was a true gift. And one of the gifts of getting cancer was really learning and feeling the love that so many people had for me, which I was not truly aware of. And so it was just such an incredible experience. And so as this change of perspective came along and I was going through this, I realized that I wasn't fond of my job anymore, and I was, I was really starting to get miserable. And I decided that, I didn't get sober and survive cancer to be miserable. So I decided to change my life, and I started training to become a life coach, and when I was 60. And it's the best thing I've ever done. And last year I retired, and I've been building my business, and it's just been the hardest and yet the most normal thing for me to do. And it's, I don't know how to do it any other way. And so, my message is, you're never too old, and it's never too late to do something that you want to do. Don't give up on your dreams. And you're stronger than you think you are. You truly are. I had no idea how strong I was until you don't have a choice, right? So anyway, if you're interested in getting a book, you can email me at nancy@amazingoutlookcoaching.com, and I would be happy to send one to you. And I'm also donating a portion of the proceeds to the Colorado Ovarian Cancer Alliance, who was, it's an amazing organization, and I'm proud to sit on the board. So as Hollie said, know your body. And as Marcia said, know your body. ovarian cancer is not detected with a pap smear. There is no test for ovarian cancer, and you have to know your body. And I was incredibly lucky to be diagnosed very early. So stay on top of it, ladies, and thank you so much. And thank you, Crystal, again. It's such an honor to be here.
Thank you so much, Nancy. Yay. So great. Such a powerful story. Thank you. All right. So now we'll hear from Nikki Milton again. Her chapter is called Rescuing My Inner Child.
Hello again, everyone. Telling your story is hard, and putting yourself out there in this way, well, it took more courage for me than I originally thought it would. However, one of the things I've found to be true as an adult is that more people have experienced childhood trauma than I ever would have guessed. It comes in many forms and it is more common than people realize. And why we don't talk about it, I don't know. I don't know what the taboo is. But my research has shown me that what we experience in our childhood is a much bigger part of who we become as adults than many realize. And I've had conversations with so many people who can relate to what I experienced when I was young. So I was not a normal child, and I did not play. At least I can't remember being playful. My brain protects me by making much of that time period fuzzy. And after that time period, I was awkward and quiet, and I did not feel safe being seen by other people. So I don't remember as a child what it felt like to play, or even what I might have played with. However, as an adult, I'm now stepping into the spotlight and I'm reclaiming play and childlike wonder for adults everywhere. Today, I'm a total comic book collecting, superhero loving, Comic Con going, straight up girl geek. I kickstart new board games. Dragons are my spirit animal, and I read all the books before the movies come out. I'm a mom and a Girl Scout leader. I love a good bookstore. I play video games, and I never miss a Renaissance fair. Whatever it is that you enjoyed as a child, I'm willing to bet there is a grown-up equivalent out there that will help you tap into the magic of being young. Our lives are overly serious, especially this year, and we weren't meant to not enjoy them. So whether it's in your personal life, your professional life, or when running your small business, I encourage you to spend time with your own inner child, exploring what brings you joy and the things you used to love to do. Getting in touch with who you really are, owning your own brand of weird, can feel impossible when we aren't in touch with what we enjoy. If you would struggle to answer the question, what makes you unique? If you are uncomfortable with embracing your own weird and what makes you different, which, interesting enough, is what attracts people to you in the first place, start with play. Playtime is not only good for stress and mindset, it can help you connect with who you truly are. Be silly, play a board game, fall in love with a superhero, bake a dessert, plant a fairy garden, dress up for Halloween, put those twinkle lights on your patio. That's the overall message of my chapter in Ready to Fly, Volume 3, and I openly encourage each of you to remember to play and to make time for wonder and curiosity and laughter. Reach out to me if you'd like to purchase a copy of the book, and I'd like to leave you with this quote by Emily McDowell. Finding yourself is not really how it works. You aren't a $10 bill in last winter's coat pocket. You are also not lost. Your true self is right there, buried under cultural conditioning, other people's opinions, and inaccurate conclusions you drew as a kid that became your beliefs about who you are. Finding yourself is actually returning to yourself, an unlearning, an excavation, a remembering who you were before the world got its hands on.
Perfect. Love that. Thanks, Nikki. Awesome. All right, next, I'd like you to meet Michele Johns. Her chapter is called Work in Progress.
Hello, thank you so much.
Yeah.
So,
All right, whenever you're ready.
thank you so much. Can you guys hear me okay? Perfect. Okay, so I want to say thank you to Crystal for the project, and thank you to all my fellow authors. This has been an amazing experience. I want to say my thank yous before I get all emotional. I want to say thank you to my daughter for encouraging this project. If she hadn't needed the points to win the the prize at the last volume book signing, I would not have entered. She believed I had a story to tell. And thank you to my husband for listening to it and reading it 1,000 times. So this is what I'd like to say. I've been very mean to my body, both physically and in my head. Other people have been mean to my body. And through this journey of writing the story, I realize, and I apologize, I did not think I would do this. I realize we are all mean to our bodies. We have these self-proclaimed flaws, these things that we don't like about ourselves. And we let them really affect us. So for me, I'll tell you that it's in my story. I was laying in bed with my daughter, and we were just hanging out on our phones. And out of the blue, she says to me, "Mom, I really hate my freckles." And I was really shocked by this. And so I pulled up this photo on Pinterest and I said, "What would you say to this woman if she told you she hated her freckles?" And she said, "But Mommy, she's beautiful because of them." And here I thought I was trying to teach her something. And instead she taught me. So I was spending, gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, don't apologize. It's all good, girl.
Okay, ugly cry. Who's crying with me? Anybody? I lost a lot of my life spending a lot of time thinking, if only, if I could just, if I didn't, if I had. Well, my life's path brought me to photography because I wanted to be in pictures, but I didn't like what I saw in pictures. So I learned to show other people how they could look amazing in pictures. But through that process, I found that every woman, every guy even, right? We get in our heads and everyone struggles to love themselves, something about themselves, something, their double chin, their eyes, their gums, something. I say this because we get so wrapped up in our heads about what we don't like about ourselves, but it could be the very thing that makes you so special or so beautiful to someone else. I am so sorry I got emotional. What I learned writing this chapter is that I'm not broken. I'm actually quite normal. And my daughter's over here crying. She's gonna make me bawl again. I love you. Anyway, I also want to bring attention to the fact that it isn't just a girl problem. It isn't just for women. My son struggles as well. So I want to thank my son for being brave and honest and share that with me as well. I would like to read a chapter out of my, or a paragraph out of my chapter, and then I'll stop crying. Okay, and the positive, right? I started appreciating that my body is how I move through this life. It is what I use to give hugs and receive hugs, high fives, and to dance in the rain. I love that my body made my babies and was so strong and resilient, even after all that it had been through. My body takes care of me, and I want to take care of it. Once I stopped hating the lumps and bumps and started to appreciate its strength, that became what I saw my body for. I began to feel beautiful, and I even decided to decorate my body with flower tattoos in honor of one of my favorite quotes. Flowers don't worry how they're going to bloom. They just open up and turn toward the light, and that is what makes them beautiful. By Kerrie. Wow. I'm sorry again for the tears. It is such an emotional journey, all of this. I do have to send a special shout out to one of my friends, Dion. I was struggling to find my words to write this, and she put me on the path. And I just, everyone that supported me, thank you so much. Thank you guys. Oh, and if you would like to buy a book from me, my website is michellejohnsphotography.com/store. Thank you. Be blessed.
Thank you, Michele. You're awesome. You're beautiful. You're strong. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Woo! All right. Next up, I'd like you to meet Sher Stalie. Her chapter is called Coming Back to Spirit. Right. Let me find you here. There you are. All right, whenever you're ready.
Okay. So hi, everyone. I'm Sher Stalie, and gosh, it's so inspiring to hear everybody talk about their stories, and it's just been very touching. So thank you, all of you who have spoken already. And thank you, Crystal. You know that I've been a challenge. So thank you. I wasn't even sure I wanted to write in this chapter, and I waited for a long time because I didn't know what to say. And I wanted to tell my story because I had a very rough start in life, as the other gals did. Alcoholic father, abusive, both, you know, mentally, physically, not so much well, abusive sexually, the whole 9 yards, right? And so it's hard to tell this story. And actually I toned it down a lot because I didn't want my mom to feel horrible, because for some reason she takes responsibility for all the things that happened to us kids, and she had 5 of them, but they weren't her problem. I mean, she didn't know, so it's not really her, you know, problem to bear. But I've never felt a victim. I've done very well in life, not having that feeling that I caused something to happen, and that, I think that's what saved me from a lot of heartache throughout my life. I never went down the path of the alcohol or anything like that, or drugs. In my story, I talk about coming back to spirit. And the one thing that did happen to me as a young child is that I did not believe there was a God. How could there possibly be a God that would allow the things that happened to us as kids happen? I mean, it just was, it was ugliness. And so it was just, I thought that was a fun way to start my story out, is talk about all the things that happened as I was a kid. Some of the milestones in my life is what I've written about, and just, you know, throughout the chapters, just some fun things, like when my spirit animal came through, my very first spirit animals, I should say. I was 3. That's my very first memory, and pretty much my only memory for a very long time. I just don't remember most of my childhood, but I did remember that it was a very traumatic experience when I'll let you know that they were beautiful black and orange Bengal tigers. They were huge. and came in to protect me when I needed it the most. And I go on to talk about, you know, my school, how I dealt with school, with all, you know, the things that were happening in my life, and how I had such a hard time and I did not feel like I belonged in school. It felt weird to me. I felt like I didn't learn things that were pertinent to life. And then I talk about my earth angels. So I have a lot of angels in my life and I have a lot of earth angels in my life. And I talk about the two most beautiful women that I have grown up with and how they really did help at certain times in my life to actually help me go different directions and make really good decisions. And if I hadn't had those women in my life, things might have been different. So just because, you know, you do go on that roller coaster ride, but I've always been able to stay pretty good. On my journey, I started to become a intuitive psychic. It came to me when I was about 29 or 30, and I never remember the date, but and I said, no way. I got this whole thing. I knew this whole story of this woman. I told her all these things. I went outside and put my hands up in the air and went, yeah, no, I don't have time for this. I'm a single mom and it's not happening. And so I talk about that. And then my story to where that came back. And I talk about how, you know, I became more, or what the story is in my life that brought me to the point of being an intuitive medium, which is what I am today, which I finally accepted, and I can actually say it out loud, and I don't feel like I'm going to be burned at the stake. So it was really talking about, you know, all the things that happened in my life, how it's kind of twisted and turned to be where I really am helping people with their stories and with the people that they've lost in their lives. And it's been a really amazing journey. And, you know, throughout that, I found out about Reiki, and there's a whole story about that. So all these have good stories with them, but, you know, it's, the Reiki has been really something I've enjoyed doing for people. And anyway, so it's just been it's been a fun journey of starting out tough, and then just life is beautiful. I love it. I can't say enough good things about all the wonderful things in my life. I have a beautiful daughter, 2 amazing grandsons. They're young still, so they're a lot of fun. And, you know, I want her to know, if she's watching right now, that, you know, I want her to be strong and be able to tell her story and live her life the way that she wants to. And life is too short to not enjoy every moment and not allow somebody that did something to you in your life affect your life. It's, you know, it's just like, gotta give it back to them and not let them destroy who you are really as a beautiful soul on this planet. And so I am a marketing person by day. I work, you know, in high tech, and then I do healing by Reiki energy, and healing by mediumship work. And I also, for all those women out there that are listening, it's I do pattern releasing. And so all the negative patterns that you've learned throughout your life, all those things can be actually let go. So it's actually a really interesting and fun process that I went through, and have enjoyed doing that for others. So I hope you read my chapter. I feel like it was a journey to a very healthy place all along the way, and I have a lot of people to thank. And so anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, and thank you, Crystal, again.
Thank you. So great to see you. Thank you very
too.
much for sharing.
Thanks.
Awesome. Yay. Great. Okay, so next I'd like you to meet, excuse me, Jennifer Knoble. Her chapter is called An Innocent World Gone. Right.
Hi, everyone.
Here you are.
I first want to also thank Crystal. I've known Crystal for a while now, and in 2017, she asked me to be a part of Volume 1 with Ready to Fly. She had knowledge of what I had experienced in my abusive marriage and had asked me to write in Volume 1, and I was scared. Is an understatement. But it was the perfect timing. Crystal has a way with that. Just perfect in timing. And that was really powerful and very healing to go through and be able to write what I had gone through and experienced. And never did I think I would be an author, and it's amazing to be in this space with such amazing, powerful, courageous women in this project. And I was gonna write in Volume 2, but I didn't feel like it was the right time. Just something felt off with that. And so I chose not to write in Volume 2. And then Crystal came to me again and asked if I felt like I was ready to write in Volume 3. And again, perfect in timing. And so I decided to write in Volume 3. Everything that I have experienced has led me to who I am today. And like some of the other stories, it has been a journey, to say the least. There was a lot of self-hate just from the experiences that I had gone through. And but I am so blessed and thankful for what I did experience, because it has led me to who I am, and I love who I am today. I love all the people that I have in my life. I love the opportunities that have come my way because of what I've gone through, and the people that I have connected with as well. So even though these negative experiences that I got the experience in life, I have been able to use them and turn them around into such a beautiful, positive thing. So with this chapter in Volume 3, I was in such like a writer's block, and I think also just very nervous about writing it. And so I did some Reiki before I wrote my chapter, and I'm thankful for Crystal's persistence. That helped like release this writer's block that I was going through, and almost wrote this chapter in a day at a writer's retreat that Crystal had organized. But part of my chapter, I don't want to give too much away, like I know most of the authors have said as well, but when I was 17, I wasn't aware in that time, especially growing up in a small town in Missouri, I was not aware of grooming. And I was definitely groomed by one of my managers. And it took me almost 10 years before I could even really talk about it. It had such an impact on my life in a negative way. But I've chosen with writing and going to therapy and seeking healing to cut the power that this person had over my life, even after long out of my life. I sought out healing because I wanted to be able to make a positive impact and hopefully change and or save someone's life that are going through these experiences as well. And if nothing else, give them a voice and maybe me being courageous to speak up and say something will give them the courage to do the same. So that's why I've chosen to write in volume 1 and now in volume 3. Sorry, it's Athena. She's very much emotionally supportive dog for me. Sit, baby, sit. I am planning to write more books and following my life's purpose that has come out of these experiences, and that is becoming a life coach and being a public speaker to bring awareness about domestic abuse and also to be an advocate for victims of rape and abuse, to give them hope and courage and hopefully guide them towards healing and let them know that they don't have to remain silent, that they're not alone, and be any kind of support that I can for anyone that's experiencing these things and be that advocate for them. So that's why I've chosen written, and there'll be more coming in the future. And if anyone is interested in a book and would love to have it personally signed by me as well, let me know. My number is 720-774-2200, or you can email me at admin@myfairygodmotherproject.org, which is a nonprofit that I am building to help victims of domestic abuse. So thank you, all of you wonderful authors, and thank you, Crystal, so much. This has been a godsend and truly has helped me in so many ways for healing. So thank you.
You're very welcome, and thank you. Thank you for being here. You guys are doing so well. Thank you so much for sharing your emotions and being vulnerable here. I just really appreciate all of you. We have a couple more authors to meet. Next, we have Sarah Warren. Her chapter is called The Gift. Let's see. You ready, Sarah? Awesome.
I am.
Oh. Can you try your video again?
Yeah, there you go.
That was me. Okay, go for it.
Hi, everyone. First of all, Crystal, I can't even thank you enough. It was a little over a year ago that I was actually at the launch for Volume 2. And I was so inspired by the women that were there and sharing their stories that it, triggered something in me, because I had started writing a book probably 5 years prior to that about my story. And I kept thinking, who would want to hear my story? Why would I have any kind of influence, and how would it affect anybody? And I listened, and I really felt people's hearts, and I kept thinking, my gosh, we're not alone, and it's important that we do share our story. And so the inspiration came from the writers from last year, and I really appreciated that. So I really want to thank you, and I want to thank all of you. I've been sitting here just like, I know when I get off of this that I'm going to have a big cry, because you've all touched my heart so much, and I've read some of the stories so far, but not all of them. And I also just want to acknowledge one of my dearest friends that is sharing one of the chapters in this book, for trusting me enough and being brave enough to share your story, Dot. It's been an honor to share this experience, and we had a lot of conversations about it, and because both of us were, I think we both spent the last 2 weeks prior to it being due writing it. And so just beware that we're going to write a book on procrastination. So look for it next when it comes out, because that should have been my major chapter. But, you know, this whole journey was about vulnerability and completion for me. And I thought I was trying to think about how to start out. And I just want to share my first 2 paragraphs with you, because I don't want to talk a whole lot about my chapter, but I do want to share with you a little bit. The very first quote is, it says, "She threw away her mask and put on her soul." I spent many years in the corporate world and being somebody for everybody else. And that to me was such a huge quote for me, because it was so true. And it starts out here. It says, "As I lay here on the floor and the last piece of casting tape was placed on my mask, little did I know the significance it would hold. Laying there listening to the counselor's gentle voice walk us through the meditation while our mask started to dry, I relaxed into the mask's oddity, comforting familiarity. As I wore it every day, I gave little thought to what it could happen next. The counselor said, 'Okay, now remove your masks, lightly lift it from your chin. Be aware of your experience.' As I started peeling off my mask and uncovering my mouth, I heard myself say out loud, 'Oh shit, there goes my facade.' And sure enough, I had never felt so vulnerable in my life. Without that mask, I was exposed. No more hiding. I heard the voice say, 'The truth will set you free.' And it was time to paint our masks in a way that symbolized the life that we were no longer to hide behind. My design was simple. Without knowing why I was painting it that way, I outlined a piece of tape over my mouth, a tear off the right eye, and a gold star in the center of my forehead. Later, I understood my internal reasons that guided these external symbols and flowed from my psyche and off the bristles of my brush. The tape was for the secrets I had kept, the tears for the sadness, guilt, and shame I had held in, and the gold star for being a good little girl and keeping quiet." So the reason I share that with you, and you know, I talked a lot about how I related to so many people, and how healing is an onion peeling. I remember sitting in a therapist's office, and he says to me, he says, "Sara, are you sure you want to start this process?" Ooh, and I looked at him and I said, "Yes." He says, "Well, once you start this process, there's no turning back." So what I've had to learn over the years is that everything that I have gone through, whether it's sexual abuse, whether it's abuse of power, whether it's just sharing my story and being vulnerable, you know, that we are not defined by our past, and yet it continues to rear its ugly head at times. I had an experience this morning. I read Michelle's chapter, and I literally had to go for a walk because it was so real for me. It was so, it was something that I so related to. And Michele, I give you my blessings and honor you for sharing your vulnerability with that. I really want to encourage people to take on their healing process and face it with tenacity and willingness, no matter what it is you're healing from. It doesn't matter whether it's from a illness, whether it's from a trauma. The healing process is a continual journey that we are on. And I know that I still have more to go, and I'm always unpeeling my healing process. And I find what I loved about writing about this, and I hated it as well, but it was a love-hate relationship for me, because when I actually saw my life in writing in this particular time of my life, I was able to actually see how far I've come. And I had to finally acknowledge myself, you know, by stepping into my own healing and being able to be in a profession where I was sharing my healing with others and touching other people's lives and making a difference. And I realized how important that was, that, you know, no matter whether we think we have a story or not, I've heard so many of you say this, we have a story because there's somebody out there that's going to touch their life. And I know that some of the things that I shared is, you know, giving away my power, you know, trusting when my gut was saying don't trust, you know, but it didn't leave me so scarred that I still trust and I still risk and I still keep looking for the gift in everything that I experience in life. And for me, that has probably been one of my greatest assets of who I am as a person and of my heart. And that is finding the gift in everything. And it doesn't happen overnight. You know, it takes years. It took me until I actually wrote this chapter to actually see some of the gifts that I was given, you know, through my story, and being able to take my mask off and looking like I had it all together most of my life, and being the stronghold and being the rescuer. And, you know, I've heard so many of your beautiful stories tonight, and I just can't wait to get through this, to read the book and really relate to all of you. And I just want to say that, you know, it's so funny because every career that I took on my journey and every class I went and got certified in, and I just kept looking outside of myself, but it was so interesting because every single one of them was for my own personal healing. And I didn't even see it at the time. It was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I think I'll go learn Reiki. I think I'll go learn massage. I think I'll go get a master's in holistic psychology and the mind-body connection. Duh. Well, every time I looked at that, I went, wow, that's another opportunity for me to heal. And that's exactly what I did. And so I'm a firm believer that I need to teach the thing I need to learn the most. So, you know, I want to encourage all of you to just continue. It's a never-ending process, you know. And once you begin the journey, it's continual. And I want to leave you with this because I thought it was really apropos for our group, since so many of us are exposing ourselves and being vulnerable and being authentic in who we are. And it says, I begin to see my brokenness was a far greater bridge to others than my pretend wholeness that has ever been. So thank you, Crystal. Thank you, all you wonderful women, for sharing your stories tonight. I can't wait to get home. I'm probably going to pull an all-nighter and read the book. So thank you again, and thank you for the opportunity to do this. And if I have some really wonderful, wonderful friends on this tonight, and my sister's on here, and I'm just really blessed. So if you want my book, you all know my number. So I know how to reach out, and you can reach out as well. So love you all, and thank you again for this incredible opportunity, Crystal.
Yeah, thank you, Sara. Thank you so much. You guys are great. All right. So this is me. It's a panda. My chapter is called The Void. And all right, I guess I'll put myself on video. Okay, so first I just want to, my goodness, I don't even know if I have enough words to describe just how much gratitude and awe I have for all of you authors. This is not easy, right? This is not easy, but we get to learn so much about ourselves in this process. We get to witness and transform on the spot, right? We get to reflect on our lives in a way that we may not have had the opportunity. And by taking this risk and being vulnerable, we can find so many beautiful things that were hidden underneath. And so I just want to thank you from the deepest place within me. And thank you all for participating in this. I really appreciate you joining this project and sharing yourselves with the world. So, about me. So, in volume 1, I wrote about my experience with PTSD and my healing process through that, as well as my spiritual awakening, I guess you could call it. And in volume 2, I wrote a little bit about the aftermath and what it was like to share that story and have that floating around out in public, in the world, for everyone to read. And just some things that I learned about myself after sharing that story. And so in the 3rd book, I really was just in a really strange place of my life. I had been through a pretty extensive period of loss and grieving. And, you know, I feel like for me anyway, I thought that I had been through, you know, some pretty deep stuff. And I thought, okay, that's kind of, you know, that's as far as it goes. And from here, it's just going to be, you know, unicorns and rainbows. That's not the way life works, guys, just in case you didn't know. So I, once again, almost did not write in this book because I realized how vulnerable and scary it is to write about something that's actually happening in real life, in real time. But I also saw this as a challenge for myself and wanted to push myself a little bit further. So I just started writing about what I was feeling. And it just started out as some words on paper to help me get through the grieving. And I let someone read it and they said, you should put this in the book. And I immediately had this rush of adrenaline and like, no way am I putting that in a book. But then of course, that's when I realized, okay, I absolutely have to put this in the book. Because this is the real stuff, right? This is what we learn from and grow from. And so the void for me is this feeling of being in between places, being in the unknown, and having no idea where I'm going, what I'm doing, what's next, what's going on here, like just kind of hanging in this limbo. And I feel like, you know, I wrote this last year, and I feel like a lot of us are going through this right now with all that's going on in the world. There's so much uncertainty, so much loss, so much grief, so much unknown. And my hope is that if you read this chapter, you might understand that it's okay. It's okay to feel the void and be in the gap and be floating in between. And it's okay to have no idea what's coming or what you're doing next. It's okay. And so I put this panda up here because, I mean, my face has been on this video pretty much all night. And I just thought we could use a little bit of lightness here, just to lighten things up a little bit. And I just love pandas. So that's a little bit about my chapter. There's a lot more to it. It's a little mystical and cerebral, and it's fairly emotional, but I hope you read it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get something out of it. So that's my chapter. That is the end of meeting the authors. So I just want to bring us all back on screen here. Let's see if I can do that. So here we are all together. I just want to take a minute here and recognize all the authors once again. Let's see if we can do gallery. There we go. Okay. So we're all on screen now. Those of us who are still on video, if anyone would like to take pictures or do some screenshots, I just want to take this opportunity to have us all together. Just normally this is when we would get together for a group photo and just celebrate each other and just, you know, take it all in. This is the moment that we have been working towards for over a year now. We started this project last summer. And so just taking a minute to soak it all in, just breathe it in, being a published author is great. I'm gonna see if I can take us all off mute so we can make some noise.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Hollie's been waiting this whole time.
This whole time.
Crystal, could you put up that screen right before you put all of our videos on? It had like all of the authors.
Yeah, I'll do that in a second. Yeah, I can go back to that for sure. Yeah, there's a couple more slides that I have in the presentation, the official presentation. Yeah, so if you have a phone or if you can take screenshots, this would be an awesome time. Let's see if I can do that.
So are the guests still here or is it just us?
Yeah, everyone's still here. At least some people are. There's a couple more things that I'd like to do before we wrap up. I just wanted to give us the chance to do a group photo and just have us all together on the same screen, just taking a few minutes to celebrate together. This is normally when we do our group hug and
I'm hugging you all.
throw some confetti in the air. Yeah.
People
Awesome.
may need to click that gallery view because I had to, if they want to see everybody.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Love it.
Bye, I'll say.
Beautiful. Hey. All right. So I'm going to go back to the official presentation. There we are. So if you want to take some pictures or screenshots of this, we're all up there again. You guys did an awesome job. You guys are amazing. You did it. Published authors. I'm so proud of you guys. So we have just a couple more minutes. Just in case you missed it, if you would like to purchase a book, you can reach out to any of the authors that you met today. Some of them gave websites, phone numbers, email addresses. You can reach some of them on Facebook as well. If you don't know anyone or you want some extra copies, at any time you can also go to readytoflybook.com. There are all of the books there that you can purchase. If you have any questions, you can send an email to info@anahatapublishing.com. And we have an online store now, which is super cool. I'm really excited about this and to share this with you guys. We have all 3 volumes available online in our store. We have these custom made coasters that are really beautiful. We have them for each volume. So on the front of each, there's kind of this cover, and then there's some quotes from the book on the back. We have these beautiful bookmarks from each book. So those are available at readytoflybook.com. And if you'd like to stay connected with this project and continue to support us and support these women with our mission to share these stories with the world, you can go to our Facebook page, like our page. You can go to our Instagram and follow us there. If you know any other women who are inspired to share their story, whether it's writing, speaking, maybe doing some type of creative creative leadership, send them our way. We would love to work with them. And just continuing to empower women to succeed and thrive and just do what we do best. And just a quick reminder, we have our book launch giveaway. After our event, I'll be checking through all the comments and just kind of seeing how everyone came together and supported us. So thank you so much again for participating. Whenever we have a winner, I'll reach out to you and get your mailing address and ship these to you. So we've got all 3 volumes of Ready to Fly, the coasters, the bookmarks. Lizanne was very generous in donating one of her books, The Night Star. And Dina Tibbs donated a beautiful journal and some tea. And Nikki Milton also contributed this really fun bracelet, Remember to Play. So just a reminder about that. And that's all we have for tonight. Thank you all to the authors, all of our guests, all of our family and friends. Thank you so much for supporting us and joining us tonight. Thank you for your patience with the technology. I hope this was fun for you. I hope all of you enjoyed yourself. Again, you can connect with us on readytoflybook.com if you have any questions, or any of our social media accounts. All right, thank you so much, guys. I'm going to figure out how to stop everything. If you want to, let's see, go ahead and unmute yourself. We can do that too.
So the only way to end a Facebook Live is to leave the meeting altogether. So it will keep going until you end it, Crystal.
Okay. Fun.
Everyone, good night.
Let's see if we can do it this way. Oh, I can stuff live stream.
Thanks, ladies.
There you go. Oh, no, nice feature.